Ready? Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome everyone and Happy New Year. We are starting off today with our organizational meeting and it will be followed by a business meeting. Rich Rosamilia is not feeling well and he will not be coming tonight. Our first matter of business is the selection of the chairman.
I would like to nominate Eleanor Breslin as chairperson for 2024. Do you accept?
Do you make that motion?
Do you accept the nomination?
Oh, I'll accept the nomination.
I'll make a motion to appoint Eleanor Breslin as chairman of the Board of Supervisors for 2024.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye. Okay.
Okay.
So I nominate Rich Rosamilia to be vice chairperson of the Board of Supervisors for 2024.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. If he doesn't accept, he'll let us know, I'm sure. I make a motion to appoint Terry Fedorchik as interim township manager and me, Eleanor Breslin, as treasurer with authorization to pay employee benefit invoices electronically and report on disbursement lists. May I have that motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I make a motion to appoint Flager and Associates as solicitor for the township with the policy that the solicitor regularly attends the Township Board of Supervisor meetings and be on call to attend meetings at the request of the supervisors. May I have that motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I make a motion, may I have a motion to pay the sum of $25.65 per hour to a person providing contracted services, including snow removal during regular business hours, and a rate of $38.48 per hour for evenings, weekends, holidays, or after a work shift exceeding 8 hours.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
May I have a motion to confirm the reappointment of Bill Cahill as the Emergency Management Coordinator?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. May I have a motion to appoint Keystone Municipal Services LLC as Township Zoning Officer and Wynn Associates as Assistant Zoning Officer with Kurt Genner to be Primary Assistant Zoning Officer with a policy to be on call to attend meetings at the request of the supervisors?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
May I have a motion to confer powers and duties to administer and enforce the provisions of the zoning ordinance to the zoning officer?
I will make that motion.
And I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
May I have a motion to appoint Keystone Municipal Services LLC as the building inspector and to administer the Pennsylvania Uniform Construction Code and the International Construction Code of 2018.
Make that motion.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. May I have a motion to appoint Wynn Associates as Township Engineer with Kurt Genner, PE, to be Primary Engineer and with the policy to be on call to attend meetings at the request of the supervisors?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. May I have a motion to appoint Wynn Associates as Floodplain Administrator with Kurt Genner, PE, to be Primary Floodplain Administrator and with the policy to be on call to attend meetings at the request of the supervisors?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. May I have a motion to appoint Thomas Kelso, Castle Valley Consultants, Inc., to provide professional, civil, environmental, and planning services on an as-requested basis by the township?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. May I have a motion to appoint Matthew Mulhall, M2 Associates, excuse me, to provide professional, environmental, and planning services on an as-requested basis by the township?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. May I have a motion to reappoint members of Delaware Valley Volunteer Fire Company, Ottsville Volunteer Fire Company, and Palisades Regional Fire and Rescue as the Township Fire Police in accordance with the recommendations of Police Chief Nicole Madden as follows: Jeff Lutz, Janet Snyder, Jeff Stevens, Corey Ingram, Vicky Black, William Black, Cody Black, Matt Overbeck, Jason Moffett, Harold Haas, Tyler Long, Don Cifelli, Bob Milligan, Michael Mulkeen, Merlin Nallo, David Wolfinger, and John Kraft.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Excuse me. May I have a motion to reappoint Police Chief Nicole Madden or her designee as CDL Administrator?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
May I have a motion to set the treasurer's bond at $650,000 with Aetna Casualty Corporation and A.J. Thompson Company as broker?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
May I have a motion to appoint Hutchinson, Gillahan, and Free, PC, auditors to examine the books and perform the audit of Tinicum Township for the fiscal year 2023?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
May I have a motion to designate Penn Community Bank, Univest Bank, and Trust and the Pennsylvania Local Government Investment Trust as the depositories for the funds of the township, except in those instances where the treasurer may obtain a better rate of interest?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
May I have a motion to engage TD Bank and the Pennsylvania Local Government Investment Trust as the depositories for the open space surplus funds of the township, except in those instances where the treasurer may obtain a better rate of interest?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
May I have a motion to reaffirm the 2023 tax millage for the year 2024?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
May I have a motion to engage Keystone Collections Group to collect the earned income taxes for Tinicum Township pursuant to Act 32, Bucks County Tax Collections?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
May I have a motion to authorize the interim township manager to collect the admissions tax for the township?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
May I have a motion to appoint Richard Rosamilia as delegate and John Cole as alternate to the Bucks County Tax Collection Committee?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. May I have a motion to reappoint Carl Ruthart to serve as chairperson of the vacancy board pursuant to Act 1069?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
May I have a motion to reimburse authorized personnel for mileage at 67 cents per mile or at the rate as adjusted by the IRS for the use of personal vehicles for township business?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
May I have a motion to reaffirm the 2023 fee schedule for 2024?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
May I have a motion to reappoint Tom Casola to the zoning hearing board?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Um, With regard to the zoning hearing board solicitor, I would like to defer that matter to the zoning hearing board as per the MPC section 907, as it is in their purview to select their own solicitor. With regard to the planning commission, may I have a motion to reappoint Neil Sullivan and to appoint Luke Sorensen to the planning commission for 4-year terms?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
May I have a motion to reappoint Joe Billingham, Chris Weaver, and John Quinby to the Building Code Board of Appeals for 1-year terms?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
May I have a motion to reappoint Ethan Perry for a 3-year term to the Historical Commission?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
May I have a motion to reappoint Riley Murphy and Carrie Manfrino to the Joint Bridgeton, Nockamixon, Tinicum Groundwater Management Committee for 1-year terms?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
May I have a motion to reappoint Cindy Gaspare, Anita Nolan, Luke Sorensen, John Quinby, and Dan Ullman to the Land Preservation Committee for 1-year terms?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
May I have a motion to reappoint Marion Kide as the Township Representative to the Lower Delaware Wild and Scenic River Management Council for a 1-year term?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
May I have a motion to reappoint Cindy Gaspare, Sasha Hall, Marion Kide, Riley Murphy, and Lauren Zonka, and to appoint Valerie Coughlin and Wendy Ullman to the Environmental Advisory Ad Hoc Committee for a 1-year term?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
With regard to the Communications, Newsletter, and Ad Hoc Committee, I would like to table the appointments for this committee at this time. May I have a motion to reappoint Michelle Grundall and to appoint Eric Hinrichs to the Park and Recreations Board for a 5-year term?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
I would like to have a motion that it shall be the policy of the Board of Supervisors that a member of any appointed township committee or board who fails to attend or participate via teleconference for 50% of the meetings during the year will be removed from the committee or board.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And in conclusion, when a formal action is recorded in the minutes, the vote in all cases shall be considered unanimous unless a dissenting vote is cast. When a dissenting vote is cast, the entire vote shall be recorded in full. Okay. And it is 7:41. And may I have a motion to close the organizational meeting?
So moved.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye. Right.
Thank you. Okay, so again, Happy New Year, everyone, and welcome to the first business meeting of 2024. This meeting is available by Zoom and it is being recorded. And to ensure that folks at home have a good viewing experience, I'm going to ask you to do a couple of things when you're speaking. If you could just lean into your mic
Okay.
and you can pull it closer to you. And for folks who are interested in making public comment, we ask that before you say anything, just indicate that you want to come up, and then I'll invite you up to this table over here on the side. If you could jot your name down on the paper and then speak into the microphone so that the computer picks up your comments. And just so that everybody knows, these recordings of the meetings are made available on YouTube. And you will find a link to the recordings on the township's website in the near future. Just want to take a moment to welcome John Cole to the Board of Supervisors. John will serve his 6-year term, and he'll be up here through the end of the year 2029. And I am very happy to be working with you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. I look forward to serving the township for these next 6 years.
Yeah.
Should be fun.
I would also like to welcome Terry Fedorchik. He is our township's interim township manager. He's in the back. Thank you, Terry. Yes. Hold-
Just a couple quick things first. I'm
What?
delighted.
Hold-
Terry.
You have to come up to my,
Projector.
yeah, I don't think it will.
It's work. I'm delighted to be here and very happy to help the board and help the residents. Just want to let you know, don't be bashful about reaching out to me with any complaints or concerns you might have. I'll be meeting with our IT folks tomorrow. I hope to get a email address on our website sooner rather than later. And you can always contact me through email. In the meantime, you can get a hold of me by just simply calling the township building. If I don't happen to be here, then just leave word with the receptionist, leave your number, I'll call you back. So looking forward to the next few months.
Yes.
Again, don't be bashful about reaching out.
Yeah. So just a little background on Terry. He served as the township manager in Lower Makefield from 1993 through 2018. And since he retired, he has been serving as interim township manager in Lower Frederick Township, Plumstead Township, Cheltenham Township, the Borough of Conshohocken, and Upper Dublin Township. We are very pleased that you are here with us and having accepted another interim manager role. And we're looking forward to working with you. So if I may invite our new township solicitor, Scott Holbert from Flager and Associates, to the front. Yep. And
Sure, I can
Yeah.
take it.
Yep.
Good afternoon, everyone. I just want to say thank you to the board for your confidence in our firm. There's 4 attorneys in our firm. Myself, I will be the primary person you will see the most here as, like you all, I'm an Upper Bucks resident. I live in East Rock Hill Township. Our firm represents some other municipalities throughout the county, Bristol Township, Morrisville Borough, Warminster Township, the Lower Makefield Township Zoning Hearing Board, the Bucks County Water and Sewer Authority, and we do other water and sewer authority in the southern end, as well as development work for Falls Township. So we're very excited. We're very pleased that the board chose us and selected us and has confidence in us. So thank you.
Great. Thanks, Scott. Next up, I have an announcement about the credit rating. So KBRA, let me just get my notes on this one. KBRA has upgraded Tinicum Township's general obligation notes from an A+ rating to an AA-, and that is a higher rating. And that's from a press release from December 13th, but I had forgotten to add it to our last agenda. So I wanted to make sure that we let everybody know here. And from that press release, I think it is noteworthy that the rating upgrade recognizes the township's solid level of financial flexibility afforded by the growing general fund balances and total governmental funds liquidity, coupled with the township's gradually declining debt burden. The long-term rating reflects the township's strong and diverse underlying tax base, trend of consistently positive financial operating results, and favorable debt and continuing obligations profile, characterized by a descending debt schedule and well-funded pensions. Counterbalancing these strengths are the township's relatively informal financial management policies and procedures, the utilization of cash basis financial reporting, a gradually declining resident population, and the township's strict land use restrictions, which, in KBRA's view, may temper prospects for future economic and tax-based growth. So overall, that's an excellent thing to get an upgrade. And we wanted to, hold on. Since we're at the beginning of a new year, we thought that it would be important to take a moment to share with everyone our top 3 priorities for 2024. The first are our bridges. We acknowledge that we're starting off the new year with 2 state-owned bridges that are closed, the Headquarters Road Bridge and the Golden Pheasant Bridge. The board further acknowledges the hardship and inconvenience that both of these closures cause our residents and businesses, and we will continue to seek solutions that meet the urgent needs of our community. The second priority is land preservation. We recognize the role conservation easements play in preserving Tinicum's rural character, natural beauty, and environmental resources. This year, we will work to strengthen communication and cooperation between the township, local conservation organizations, county and state open space agencies, as well as individual landowners. And finally, our third priority is community engagement and transparency. We recognize that open communication and transparency are fundamental to effective governance, and we will prioritize effective engagement with the community through public meetings to ensure that your voices are heard in the decision-making process. So we are looking forward to together achieving the goals and making Tinicum Township an even better place to live, work, and thrive. Your input and involvement are crucial, and we encourage you all to actively participate in the initiatives and projects that will shape our community's future. And we wish you all a healthy and joyful new year. Next on the agenda is public comment, and it's not a typo. Public comment is back at the top of the meeting. So, yes.
Kelly Kendall, Tinicum resident. So I'm just inquiring with the new solicitor now, what is the status? Steve was working on our HOA stipulated agreement with Mark Hankin. So is there an update on that, and who is going to handle that, and what's the transition going to be like?
Sure. So I spoke with Steve today, and I mean, he said that he's been in this process many times on both sides. It's not an uncommon thing to have a transition for solicitors. So, Scott will be in touch with Steve first thing tomorrow, and they'll coordinate the transfer of files. Steve Harris has a list of active matters, that will go straight to Scott, copied, the board will be copied on. There will be a smooth transition.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thanks, Kelly. Any further comment at this time? Yeah, come on up.
Hello, Anthony Ardito, Tenneco resident. Concerning the headquarters bridge road, at the last meeting, Mr. Gudemel said that he would have a private funding package to present it to the board at the next meeting, I believe he said. I would like to know what the status of that is.
So the board has John has only been sworn in today. So the three of us have not yet had an opportunity to have that conversation. We anticipate having that conversation in the very near future. And I would anticipate at our next business meeting that we would have an actual update on the bridge.
Okay,
Okay?
thank you.
Thank you. Is there any further public comment at this time? Okay. Under old business, we have Headquarters Road Bridge update as kind of a standing item under old business. We don't have an update on that tonight. Under new business. So I would like to discuss, John, the possibility of amending the Board of Supervisors meetings and the frequency with which we meet for work meetings. The underlying issue is, as many as you know, we're having some capacity issues within the administrative office of the township. And I think that to alleviate some of the pressure that the business meetings can put on the staff in-house, I would like for us to entertain going down to one business meeting a month for the Board of Supervisors. And that meeting would be on, as I'm thinking about it, that meeting would be on the first Tuesday of the month, as we are tonight, same time. The second time the board would meet would be for a work session. And that would be on the third Tuesday, but instead of at 7:30 p.m., I'm proposing that it happens at 4 p.m. so that we all have an opportunity to be here while our staff is here, so that we can kind of get closer to the work that the staff is doing. What do you think about that?
Well, it's probably what we have to do in order to be able to relieve some of the stress and also the work session would give us an opportunity to have a more informal conversation with the staff and get their input on what's going on in the township and what's going on in this office. Public would be at these meetings also. They'd be able to comment. The only difference would be is that we're not really doing any kind of motions in any kind of official business. It's really the only big difference that I can see in it. So I don't see a problem with it personally. It makes it's going to be more smooth, I think, in the future if we do it that way, at least in the interim until we get another manager in here to be able to organize these meetings. It's a tremendous amount of work that needs to be done.
Okay. If we change the frequency of the Board of Supervisors business meetings, does that have any impact on, say, the Planning Commission's meetings?
The Planning Commission should be able to coordinate better, and it'd be best if they also change their meeting schedule to have 2 official business meetings per month. And that way we run into a little bit less trouble with clock issues. When we get an application, it goes on a clock. Decisions need to be made within 60 days, and often the timing is not worked out correctly. With the Planning Commission now only having 1 business meeting a month, with 2 business meetings a month, I'll have an opportunity to make motions on applications that come in, let's say at the beginning of a month, right after our meeting. They'll be able to make motions on that for our next meeting. Or let's say one comes in right after their official meeting. they'll have a meeting in 2 weeks, be able to review it, and then have it ready for the Board of Supervisors at their next business meeting. We've had some troubles in the past where we run close on the clock, particularly with zoning hearing board issues, which are on a very tight clock. And if we don't take action on it in a timely fashion, whatever's been applied for is automatically approved. So, heretofore, applicants have been asked and they have been granting the township extensions on zoning hearing board applications and on conditional use applications. And we've been lucky so far with some of them that the applicant hasn't said, well, no, we're not going to extend it because of the time issues. We would have had to just automatically allow them to do something, which we really don't want to be in that position. So it's best that the planning commission does 2 meetings a month business-wise, and we only really need to do the one to approve all the work that they do for the year, or the month rather. So I would propose that they also, we change the meeting schedule for the planning commission to make it such that they have official meetings twice a month. Where minutes will be taken and actions will be taken on the applications.
Okay, so then I'll make a motion that the Board of Supervisors amend its meeting schedule so that it is meeting on the first Tuesday of the month at 7:30 PM for a business meeting. And its second meeting of the month will be held on the third Tuesday at 4 PM for a work session. In addition, in this motion, I would amend the Planning Commission's meeting schedule to go from 1 work session and 1 business session to 2 business sessions, 2 business meetings per month.
That's your motion?
That's my motion.
I will second that motion.
Okay. Any comment? All in favor? Yes.
Cindy Gasparri. How long do you anticipate this schedule will be in effect? Is it just through the transition?
I mean, I think we can kind of reassess it as we have a couple of months with that new schedule. I think we can kind of have a check-in and see if it's working well. We can always go back to how things have been. I would anticipate, though, that would be the case, at least until we have a full-time manager in place. That's what I anticipate. But it might work out well. It might end up working out better. We'll see.
There are a lot of townships that actually work this way. Scott, you work in a lot of different townships? Is it-
Yeah, townships, boroughs, authorities. The majority of our clients meet once a month. The times they meet twice a month for business meetings are around budget season and this time of year where it's just the general business needs to be changed around, but most prefer, most have gone from 2 down to 1, and they've seen actually an increase in business being done because it does, as you said, it frees up the staff to do their more day-to-day work versus preparing for a meeting every couple weeks, and more gets done. And even though the agenda lengthens a little bit, you're able to go through the items better, and adding the work session will add to that help as well, because you'll be able to have a free discussion without having to think about whether I'm going to vote on this right now or not.
Now, if we require another business meeting, though, we wouldn't be able to just do the business meeting. We'd have to anticipate that and continue the business meeting that we're having. Like tonight, if we had more business we felt we needed to do.
Well, you could always advertise for another meeting. You only have to advertise 24 hours in advance to have a business meeting. So
Okay.
there's always, you can add one in at any time. You did theoretically advertise already your first and third Tuesdays as business meetings. So what you could do is you don't cancel that. You cancel the third, like tonight you would cancel it, but you would have one already on the schedule if need be.
But my motion is to change the time of the second meeting so that it starts
Oh, then
at
you
4
would, you would
PM.
be saying it? Yeah, then you would have to advertise. But you could always advertise. It's 24 hours in advance. It's pretty simple. You would know if you need one.
Of course, the option to cancel is always there for the planning commission.
Correct.
If the planning commission chooses they don't have any work, they can go ahead and say, we're not going to have a meeting, correct?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So I would like to discuss the engagement of the services of the Minor Center. So the Minor Center for the Study of State and Local Government at Lafayette College, it provides independent and unbiased professional guidance for municipalities in matters including administrative management and executive recruitment. And so a couple of weeks ago, John and I, and Rich, I was also invited to the meeting, but he was unable to attend. But John and I met with the executive director of the Minor Center, and we learned about the services that that program offers municipalities, and kind of what they would be able to provide to Tinicum Township for the executive search process. So, John, do you want to speak to
Yeah,
what
I
they
think that-
offer?
Clearly, I don't feel particularly qualified to make this kind of a professional search. So we need to use somebody outside. We spoke with this person and the rates are fairly reasonable. They will work with us. We need to mention rates now with it, I guess, or you have them or.
Yeah, so they provide professional guidance in choosing both a procedure for recruiting your new manager
Mm.
and in the ultimate selection of the best candidate available. Their services include meeting with the elected board, preparing and distributing the position for advertisement, reviewing either alone or with a search committee if the board decides to create a search committee, the resumes that are received. And just to be clear, this is to identify our next permanent township manager. In addition, they provide interview questions, and they participate in the interviews if the municipality is interested in them participating in the interviews. They also assist in negotiating the terms of a new manager and kind of the onboarding process. What we learned is that their services are in high demand and their capacity is not unlimited. So we were told if we thought we wanted to move forward with engaging the minor center, we needed to do it as soon as possible. If we were to tell them tomorrow, yes, we want to move forward, they couldn't begin working on our account until March. And the first step of their engagement would be something that they refer to as a logistics meeting. And typically, from their experience, a new manager is expected to be in the office 3 to 4 months after the logistics meeting. So if you put that out, we're talking mid-year. So their rate is, the executive director, her name is Nicole Beckett. She charges $110 per hour plus travel reimbursements, and costs are not to exceed $8,500 plus travel reimbursements. When I was reaching out to folks throughout Bucks County prior to being connected with Terry Fedorchik, many people, in addition to suggesting his name directly, also suggested the minor center for the permanent search. They're pretty well known for the professional services that they provide. So I would like to make a motion. No, may I have a motion to engage the services of the minor center?
Yeah, I would just like to say also in addition there too, it's like, this is not a position, again, to reiterate that we can just put an ad in the Intelligencer and have people come in and fill out applications for. This is a real professional position. This is the person who's going to be managing everything that goes on in this township. The road crew, how they work, the police department, all these people, they supervise these employees of the township, along with the financials and other applications that come in, all this other, what the zoning officer's doing, everything is under their purview. So it's a very important professional job, and as I don't feel qualified to be able to even ask the right questions. And these people will be doing that. They'll know the questions to ask and vet these candidates for us so that we can get the best for our township. And I think that's what we deserve, is the best we can get. So yes, I will make the motion that we engage the minor center to search for the candidate for board of, for township manager.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oop.
Any comment? Yes. Yes.
name is Laura Duval, and I'm the vice president of the Friends of the Delaware Canal. And we used a sort of a sister service at Lafayette to hire a new executive director. It was an excellent process, and they got us an excellent director.
Oh,
It
thank you
was
for that, Laura.
Very, very helpful.
Excellent. Okay. Um, All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So I'll reach out to them tomorrow,
Okay.
or maybe tonight. Next on the agenda, we have the appointment of a member of our Board of Supervisors to represent Tinicum Township on the Palisades Regional Fire and Rescue Municipal Advisory Board. So as many of you know, our Ottsville Volunteer Fire Company merged and became a regional that is called the Palisades Regional Fire and Rescue. And last year, I was appointed as the township's representative to the Municipal Advisory Board, but we didn't meet at all. Like it didn't, nothing happened last year. But we have learned from Chief Schick that this year it is a high priority, and that the Municipal Advisory Board will be meeting and active throughout the year. So I nominate John Cole to be the township's representative. May I have a second?
I'll second that.
Any comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so one thing that I meant to acknowledge at the top, two things. First, we had an executive session from about 6:45 to 7 to meet with two potential township volunteers who were then subsequently appointed. But I also wanted to acknowledge that because the township has a website, we are required to post our meeting agenda on the website at least 24 hours before the meeting. And that hasn't happened because we're having difficulty navigating the platform that holds the website. So figuring out how to have an operational website that we can update and use as a reliable tool to keep everyone informed, seeing that that is a priority. I would like to authorize Terry Fedorchik to engage a third party to host and or design a new township website. And since having drafted this agenda, we have actually identified a volunteer from the township who has offered to create a new website for the township on a purely volunteer basis. But we may need to sign up for some kind of hosting platform or domain registration. So there will be some possible minor costs associated with this.
Yeah, they're very minor.
Yeah.
Having just done it
So
this year.
may I have a motion to authorize Terry Fedorchik to take these steps to get us a usable website?
I'll make that motion.
And I second. Any comment? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
So on the agenda, next is number 5 under new business. We have the consideration of allowing full hybrid access and remote participation for the Board of Supervisors business meetings. John, would you like to speak to this?
Well, we've had the Zoom meeting now, it's been going on for the past year or so, and I've found it useful 3 or 4 times. I think I've used it when I've been out of town. And we, in this day and age, do a lot of traveling for business and find ourselves out of town when there are business meetings take place, but still wanting to participate. There are also people in the township who are not able to come here because they're either older and don't want to drive at night, they're sick, they get broken bones, they have kids to take care of, what have you, but still want to participate in our government. And I think it's important that they're able to do that. We have the technology to do it today. It used to be you had to come to a meeting, but now in these days with what we have technology-wise, people are able to communicate to us from their homes. And we want to try to expand this now to include that participation. I'm not sure how far we want to go yet with it, whether we would just want to have it where you type in a question or comment and the person who is sitting in the chair over there will relay it to the board, or whether we're gonna have full virtual vocal. That's the thing probably, I think that's the only thing I want to decide is whether we want to go, whether it's a full virtual vocal conversation, which of course there would be guidelines for that. You know, you're not gonna be able to get on there and go on all night, but you know, you can make a comment to the board or ask a question either by writing or in voice. I mean, that's the only, at this point, the only question I have is whether we want to do a full virtual or whether we want to do where they just type in a question or comment.
Okay. Do you think that this is a good topic for us to take up at our first work session?
Yeah, that would give us a chance to talk and interact with the public a little bit more. I think that they'll appreciate being able to make comment during that time. Everybody can mull it over for a couple of
Mhm.
weeks, including myself, and we can, you know, figure out what we want to do here. I really would like to see people at home to be able to participate. I know when I was on the out and I looked in, there was at least one time where I really, as a member of the planning commission, you were reviewing something and I was away, and I really would have loved to type something in and say, wait a second, you don't have this exactly the way we went over it in the planning commission. And I couldn't do it. And then that's something I think it's valuable for somebody like myself or other people in the planning commission to be able to participate when they're away and not have to plan their entire lives around our meeting schedule.
Okay.
So,
And then the next item on new business is the consideration of creating a public participation guideline or public participation guidelines for Board of Supervisors meetings. And I've seen many instances in municipalities that have an interactive virtual option that they do have guidelines that they publish on kind of rules of engagement around public participation, including things such as, comments in writing, verbal comments, spoken comments, and also time limits, both on public comment for agenda items and open public comment. To me, these things seem, they kind of go hand in hand. I mean, if you're considering one, you almost, I think you frequently you're considering the other. So should we take that up at the next work session also?
I think also on this, sit down and decide like what you have a public comment session here. Maybe split a public comment session where you have public comments in the beginning of the meeting that pertain to things on the agenda only. And, so you come in and you see something on the agenda, you're going to comment, and that's when they comment, as opposed to the way we do it now, we make a motion. That's something we need to decide when we're going to do that. And maybe somebody comes in and says they have comment on something that's on here. But then when we take action, we make a motion, that's when we discuss the topic. And at that point, then the public listens to us. I don't know how you want to do that. That's, again, something we discuss at a work session as to how to structure that part of it. And then again, at the end of the meeting, you have a public comment session that would be open to other things that are not on the agenda that maybe we need to bring up and talk about at the next work session. That's, so yeah, something in a work session, we should try and lay out exactly what we want to do with that.
Okay. So for numbers 5 and 6 under new business, we're not voting on these tonight, but we will be speaking about them at our first work session, which I think is the 16th, January 16th, at 4 p.m. And that will probably be something that we discuss towards the end of that meeting. In the meantime, if anyone has any comment on that or ideas, we're happy to hear it now, or you could email us in the interim. Okay, seeing no
That's pretty
comment.
quiet.
Number 7, since the Environmental Advisory Committee was kind of reactivated in 2022, it has been in the kind of given the status of an ad hoc committee rather than a standing committee. But in reality, it's been functioning as a standing committee. So I would like to make that official. May I have a motion to change the EAC from an ad hoc committee to a full standing committee?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second. Any comment? All in favor?
Aye.
And lastly, we have, in many municipalities, there are board liaisons to the various committees and commissions within the township. And the purpose of liaisons, in this context, it's the same as really in any context, is just to improve communication. So I would like to make a motion to have members of the Board of Supervisors serve as liaisons for township committees, commissions, and boards. And I guess we could start there. May I have that motion?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, I'll second. Any comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, aye. And along those lines, John, I nominate you to be the liaison for the Planning Commission, Land Preservation Commission, Park and Rec, and the Historical Commission, or Historical Board.
Okay, accept the nomination.
Okay,
I make a motion then for that.
I'll second. Any comment? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And then we have remaining the EAC and the Groundwater Management Committee, Zoning Hearing Board, and Building Code Board of Appeals.
I nominate Eleanor Breslin to be the liaison for the EAC and the
Groundwater. Committee.
groundwater, and Rich Rose Amelia for the building codes and the building inspector and zoning hearing board.
Well, I accept the nomination. And, I mean, we could hold that open for Rich to accept
Yeah, we can
or
hold off.
consider.
It'd be another month. We haven't had them for a while, so
Okay.
it'll be fine.
So I'll accept the nomination for the EAC and Groundwater Committee liaisons.
I make a motion that you be appointed as such.
I'll second.
Right.
Any comment? All in favor?
Which is two. Aye.
Okay, aye. Regular business. So the minutes from the December 5th and 19th Board of Supervisor meetings are not yet available for approval. This goes to the capacity issues within the administrative office that I was referring to earlier. The link to the video recording of the December 5th meeting has been posted to the township website. The link to the video recording of the December 19th meeting will be posted on the township website as soon as possible. And the minutes will also be, we're working on that. We have a payroll report with a payroll period ending December 29th, 2023. Gross payroll in the amount of $25,646.39. May I have a motion to approve the payroll report?
So moved.
I'll second. Any comment? All in favor?
Aye.
We have a list of disbursements from the general fund, liquid fuels, and capital and equipment. Have you had an opportunity to review the list of disbursements?
I have.
Okay, as have I.
I make a motion that we accept the list of disbursements and pay them in full.
Yep. So specifically, the motion is to approve disbursements from the general fund in the amount of $17,044.25, from the liquid fuels in the amount of $4,004.48, and from capital and equipment in the amount of $12,403.18. You made that motion. I'll second. Any comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Conditional use and zoning hearings. There's a zoning hearing board application, ZHB 2023-9, Paul Weand. The applicant appeals the decision of the zoning officer and in the alternative requests a use variance to allow rental of a cottage and rental of an undisclosed number of barn units. The application was received on 9/29/23. Planning Commission reviewed on 10/24/23. The extension request letter was received on 10/25/23. The board decided to send the solicitor and a zoning officer to the zoning hearing, which was originally scheduled for 11/21/23 and was continued to January 11th, 2024. Next is zoning hearing board application ZHB 2023-5, Mark Calloway. The applicant requests relief to construct a pole barn in setbacks and floodplain. The application was received on 7/17/23. The extension request letter was received on 7/19/23. The PC reviewed on 9/26/23, and the board decided to send the solicitor to the zoning hearing, originally scheduled for 10/3/23. It was held, it began on 10/26 of 2023, and it was continued to February 8th of this year. And finally, we have the zoning hearing board application ZHB 2023-12, Jonathan Weiss and Abigail Wolf. The applicant requests relief to construct a private swimming pool and related improvements within the front yard and side yard setbacks and exceeds impervious coverage. The application was received on 11/16/23. The PC reviewed it on 12/12/23. The extension request letter was received on 11/6/23. The board decided to send the solicitor to the zoning hearing on 12/19. And the zoning hearing board hearing is scheduled for February 22nd, 24. We are at our second and final public comment. And I would just like to give a shout out to Larry Brandt, who Terry Fedorchik has promoted to production manager. He's running our Zoom tonight solidly. Thank you. Is there any public comment? Okay, hearing none. I may have a motion to adjourn the meeting at 8:21:22.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Good night. Thank you.
Right.